Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 15 of the Next Gen Bets podcast. Good catch, good catch.
Oh, what happens when we get to 100 and I don't have like or what I guess 50. I can't do it with the hands. Or
I don't even know. I don't even know when you can't do it with your hands anymore,
no,
actually.
I guess 19. I guess 16 I can't.
Well, because
I guess
you could flash two fives. That'd
yeah, I
be
gotta get
55. You could like,
I'll have to
you
learn.
can do
Like
like I guess you can go to like,
yeah,
you can go to like 55.
counting well I get how would I do a 6 or like a 9?
Oh yeah, you're right. Never mind. I don't even know when we stop.
Counting's hard. Counting's hard.
Yeah, numbers, especially for me, dude. I don't
We
do
worry about the
that.
bets, not numbers with our hands.
Yeah, exactly. That's why we have
Just
calculators.
speaking of our bets, well, let's get right into our bets. We had five for this weekend. There's six games. We had five bets, a bet on everything, one parlay. And if you didn't stay tapped into the Twitter, you would have not had as good of a weekend as if you were tapped into the Twitter. So to start out, Saturday, we had a great Saturday, and I really thought we had progress for a great weekend. We had CJ Stroud to outthrow Justin Herbert, and this one ends up getting a little dicey. Stroud was up by like 140 at one point. I was working while watching this, and it was great because the bar was dead. So I was just standing there watching the game, getting paid, watching my bet, and it was up. So I was like double winning in my head. And then the Chargers, they didn't come back, but Herbert started getting yards for no reason. Like that lad that was a 79 yard or no 85-yard lad McConkey touchdown. Just like that was the one thing we couldn't have. And he got sacked to make it an extra 10 yards for the touchdown. It's like come on. That's the one you're down 31-12 and we're just or whatever the score was ridiculous.
31
And we're
is, I
just
think it's 32 to 6 at that point because
yeah,
then they
it's
scored.
just ridiculous. But that also brought up Stroud kept taking sacks and they kept getting penalties and that led to him getting more pass yards. So that was I was very appreciative of that. Like they had the one series where Mixon got down to like the two, and then somebody got a 15-yard penalty for something stupid, and then Stroud threw like a 20-yard touchdown because of it. And I was just like, that's just we love that. Just got more, or actually, I think it ended in a field goal, but they had it was second and 40 they had, and then they got it to like third and 10 or fourth and 10 and kicked the field goal. It was like they got 30 extra passing yards just because of penalties. So I appreciated that. But Stroud ends up winning by 40. Herbert had a chance to beat it on that last drive if he threw for 40 yards, but Derek Stingley, absolute dog with, I think it was his second pick and the fourth pick of Herbert to seal that one out. Or I guess not to seal it out, but to seal out our bet because the game was far from had been sealed a while ago, but sealed the bet. And in the nightcap, we had Baltimore minus 9.5, so just needed them to win by 10, and they killed Pittsburgh. Kind of got a little close in the like third to early fourth.
Yeah, but
Pittsburgh cut it
it
to
wasn't like very, it
they
still
yeah
wasn't close. It
they
was
cut it
like,
to 14, and I think they got the ball back for one series.
yeah,
And they went three
yeah.
and out, and then Baltimore scored and went back up the 21 points. Like up 21, we're good, but then up 14, Pittsburgh having the ball, there was a chance for them to make it within the 10 points, but we were good. So no backdoors there. So that was a nice start for the Saturday. Some backdoor scares, but ended up being good. And then moving on to Sunday, we had some issues. Game one, we had Bills money line. And kind of the only scare of this game was that first series from Denver, the nice Tim Patrick, or not Tim Patrick, the fellow Oregon receiver, I forget his name. His touchdown from Bo Nix got up 7-0. It was like the first rookies from the same college to throw a touchdown together. And I'm blanking on his name. But they go up 7-0 and then bang, 31-7. Bills absolute steamroll. Um, and we'll
Name
skip
is
the E.
Troy Franklin, by the way.
Troy, I knew it was close to Tim Patrick because he's a former Denver Bronco now with the Lions. We're close. So Troy Franklin touchdown, and then Buffalo dominated from that point. And then let's skip the Eagles game to talk about the second leg of the parlay. We had Bills money line and Bucks money line. Why? Because rookie quarterbacks were 5-17 in their in the playoff game as a rookie. Now they are 6-18. Bo Nix loss, Jaden Daniels win. But if you pay attention to the Twitter, we tweeted out that we were arbing this game with a slight hold. So what we did here, the options we had was for like 2% ARB and make your 2% profit if you just took Bucks money line with Commanders money line, or you could have like a 1.4% ARB and have the chance of both bets hitting if the Bucks won by one. That's what I ended up doing. I think that's what I ended up tweeting out. So this way we ended up making money no matter who wins. And I mean, I guess for a little bit of that game with it being close, there was a chance that some foolishness could have happened and the Bucks won by one. and so that would have made it so we win both bets, but that did not happen. But that arb ends up being the swing because Green Bay game, we had Green Bay to cover 4.5, and they kind of blew it on the first snap, really, the kickoff, where they fumbled the ball slash didn't fumble the ball. Everybody's arguing about that one. I guess it kind of is what it is. They played garbage the rest of the game, so but that did kind of kill the momentum. As I believe at one point it was 19-10 was like the best spot we got this to late in that fourth quarter. When if you take away that touchdown that probably shouldn't have been a touchdown, it's 12-10 and we're covering. So that's just, that's how it goes sometimes. And then we had Vikings minus 2.5, thought they'd bounce back after losing the Lions, and they did not show up. So don't really have to go deep into that one. Like we'll talk about Sam Darnold later on in the episode, but Vikings minus 2.5, not even close. And then Packers plus 4.5 kind of teased us a little bit. Unlucky bounces, but that one also not really close. So we ended up really pushing everything. Had 2 wins on Saturday, lost on Sunday, lost on Monday, and then we had the ARB to make a little bit of money, but not much. So we're pretty much we're up a slight this weekend. No, like I don't even think it's a full unit that we're or not even a full like 0.01 of a unit up, just based on the VIGs and stuff of these bets. But if you didn't pay attention to the ARB, you'd be down a unit, or you'd be down 2 units because I was a 2 unit play that by ARBing when we end up winning money instead of losing 2 units. So that's why you got to pay attention to the Twitter.
Yeah, and that's why arbing is sometimes good, even though you don't want to do it. That's a big swing. That's a 2 unit swing pretty much. So that's a big swing.
4 unit swing because it'd be either +2 or down 2, 4.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Put it that way.
But like it was a 2 unit swing for us
Yeah, yeah. By not taking a
for
2 unit L.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's why arbing kind of pays off once in a while. A lot of people hate doing it because it limits your profits, but I'd rather insure a profit than
So
not get.
yeah, we bet that with the intention of doing that later on. So
Yeah,
I was
exactly.
kind of hoping it'd be a little more like they'd give us like I guess a better boost from the Bills winning, but they were like minus 500. So, but that might be on the horizon again this week because I think it's like three heavy favorites and then one legit pick 'em this
Yeah,
week.
yeah.
So
So
we'll talk about those
after that,
games and the Natty on Thursday. Thursday or
yeah.
Friday is the plan. It depends on how the days of the week go for us. But we'll really dive into that. I think the only thing I've bet so far is I did take Ravens money line because they gave us look ahead lines and they had the Ravens pretty much even. And then they ended up, so I think we gained like slight value on that because I think I got it like minus 103 and now they're like minus 110 in that game. So slight value, nothing crazy, nothing enough to arb it, but a little boost, I guess, a little beat the odds.
Oh hell yeah.
I love doing that.
Me too. Me too. Like catching it early and then you're like already chill. You're already ahead essentially.
Yeah, so I think it would have been better if the Bills didn't win as dominantly, but it still didn't end up hurting us, so we're good. We'll see how line still can move a lot by
Yeah, there's a lot of time. That's why we're not
Sunday.
making natty picks because there's
Is it too
already
early?
there's some movement going on. It hasn't moved much. Some books it's the exact same, but there's a little bit of movement, and I'm worried that it's probably going to move a little bit more closer to the game, especially with more people betting on it throughout the week.
And
So
the injuries, that's a big thing in this
yeah,
one.
injuries too. It's not looking necessarily like um the defense for Notre Dame at least, the defense is going to stay the same. The offensive line has had a lot of injuries in that Penn State game, so we'll have to see who comes back from the offensive line. And then
And then
Jeremiah Love is
that's the big one.
he's good, like he's good to go. He obviously played in the Penn State game. He played pretty well, but he wasn't 100% in that game going into that game at least. So finding out what he's looking like going into that game is kind of important. So I'm expecting a little bit of line movement throughout the week, and then same with these football games or the NFL games. I'm sure there'll be a little bit of line movement throughout the week.
Yeah. And
So
the over unders always go crazy.
yeah, yeah,
There'll be movement. There's always movement on those ones. Those are the ones like you get a 2 point swing that make or break it. If we take the under, I think now it's like 46.5, but usually they end up going up. People take the over. So then later in the week, if we can get the same under at the same, minus 110, and maybe it's now 48.5, that'll be, that's big 2 point swing there. So
yeah, exactly. So we'll figure out what's going on. We'll figure it out, but you guys will figure that out later in the week. Um, but when it comes to the national championship Alone, there's not much to say about it right now, I don't think. I don't have a lot to say about it right now. I think I'll have more to say about it as we get closer. It's one of those things where you get a little bit of a buffer going between the semifinal and the national championship, so you kind of have some time to sit on it, and then you get distracted by NFL football. So once this weekend nears, then Monday comes closer, I'll start thinking about it a lot more. Um, and then we'll talk about it a lot more on Friday. Friday should
Yeah,
be a pretty heavy episode when it comes to games because we'll talk about the Natty and also the divisional round. So we'll get that. But we also talked about it a little bit last episode. So if you guys didn't see that, you can go look at part of it last episode too. It's at the beginning. Um,
yeah. I
but
think my initial lean with the Natty is Notre Dame spread. So I
yeah,
think that's a lot of points for a national championship game. Um, and then I plan on taking the under, whatever it closes at, and then trying to do the arb slash hedge thing or like create a hold thing that we did with this parlay. So I'm thinking like midway through the second quarter, the game's probably going to be lower on scoring. So that's been the trend for some of these playoff games. And then we can maybe get like a 3 point thing where both sides hit, and then we could make like a couple bucks on the over and under. But if we find a middle ground where we can make, double, that'd be a pretty nice way to end the college football season.
yeah, definitely. Definitely looking to end on a high note. Kyle also, before we started recording, we were talking about it a little bit. He also mentioned potentially looking at Ohio State first half, Notre Dame
Yes.
second half. I like that because Ohio State comes out hot, and as you saw in the Penn State game, Notre Dame does not. And Notre Dame plays a heavier second half, and Ohio State kind of lets off when they come out hot. So if the game goes as the books and everybody else expects it to, that should be not a give me, but it should be a safer bet, assuming that Notre Dame wins the second half and Ohio State wins the first half. So that's something I'll be looking at as we get closer. That's one bet that I kind of like heading into the week. Um, but we'll figure that all out before we get there. Um, but Kyle, did you wanted to talk about some off-season happenings?
Yeah, I love the NFL offseason. I think it's super exciting with the especially in NBA offseason, NFL offseason, and MLB offseason's like kind of getting there, but it's got less player movement. But NFL and NBA offseason with like how important the draft is, the trading of draft picks, and then the I guess recently in the NFL and the NBA not so much, but the player movement, like this the big impact player, like basically NFL quarterbacks, but the NBA we've seen more stars being moved. Basically, Sam Darnold's going to be the big one. He'll probably be the most important free agent quarterback. Russell Wilson will get talked about, and so will Rodgers. But Darnold's the big one. He had the best season, 14-3. Finished the season on two very bad games, no passing touch, or I guess one passing touchdown last night, and they missed the 2 point. But just two bad games in general. So that kind of messes up his, I guess, offseason hype. But there's so many teams that, especially because we don't think this draft class is like super elite. Uh, and I do think next year's draft class is better. And I think there's a lot of quarterbacks in this draft class that could benefit from sitting a year. So maybe I think a lot of options would be the Sam Darnold back to Minnesota, and then you get JJ McCarthy available for trade, which I think the Giants would be the best situation for that because they could just move their pick number 4. This way, they don't have to try to trade up to get Shadur or Cam Ward. They can just trade for JJ McCarthy, and he's probably better than the other two, in my opinion. And
Yeah.
then there's their like that'd be Giants fans would love that. We live in that area, so we get a lot of Giants garbage on the radio and that type of stuff. They would just absolutely eat that up if that happened. Or you get Darnold leaving um, the Vikings, and then you get a situation kind of like Baker Mayfield, um, where he goes somewhere and probably he's on a fringe playoff team because I don't see him being, so much better than that. The way his career's gone, but I could see him, 10-7, 9-8 records. Like maybe Indy, I could think could be a team, or even Tennessee. I know they have the number 1 pick, but if they want to give better competition to AR, or even just be done with AR, because we've seen people not like him, but like one of those teams that are in like a weaker division, Cleveland could almost do it too. Just a team that thinks they're a quarterback away. Kind of like Atlanta when Atlanta brought in Kirk Cousins, like you bring in Darnold for a little bit to be your starter, and then move on from there. I could see Darnold going to New Orleans, an upgrade from Derek Carr, but they're like a team that's not bad enough to get a top draft pick quarterback, but not good enough to, actually matter in the grand scheme of things. Or there's a third option where he could be the guy that you bring in, start for a year to two, and bring in the like Quinn Ewers or Milrow later in the draft, which is kind of similar to the other option I was told about. I was just telling you guys about, but this one's like the more like more of like a direct bridge, where the other one's like just like a longer bridge, I guess. Um, so there's a lot of options. Or obviously you could stay in Minnesota like we said, which I think would be the best option for him because that team's really good. Like just with Addison and Jefferson, just and the defense to throw to. But there's 32 teams and there's only one Super Bowl winning quarterback every year. So uh, every year there's going to be quarterback movement, and every year there's going to be teams are going to be like fans are unhappy with Justin Herbert and Joe Burrow because they're not winning the Super Bowl every year. So very hard to please fan bases nowadays.
Yeah. I think keeping Darnold in Minnesota, obviously he didn't have the most impressive last two games. I think this game wasn't as bad. This
He's still
past game.
young.
He is still young. I think it's honestly it's a safer bet to keep Darnold and let JJ walk. I think you can get more
Or
value
do it
out of
again for a
JJ.
year. Like do it again for a year. Have both of them for another year.
Yeah, you could do that
You'll
too.
lose value on whoever you get rid of, but you could if you want to make sure you get it right, you could do it again.
Yeah, well, the my thing is, there's a little bit of risk associated with just sending Darnold. Darnold showed you who he is. Yeah, he finished off week,
I
but they
think
were 14-3 when
yeah,
they weren't supposed to do anything. And
yes.
JJ is a rookie who hasn't played it down yet, and he was
You
good.
can't
I
fluke
like JJ.
14-3. That's a
Yeah,
very impressive record.
exactly. And
But
I'm
I
not
will say
saying JJ's
I
bad,
think
but what were you saying?
I think the thing with like a reason you take JJ is because he could be better than Darnold, like a higher ceiling, and they are in a really good division.
Yeah,
So like to get over the hump, like kind of like how we see like the Bills and Ravens try to do so much to beat the Chiefs. Like they have like that in their own division. Like you need Bears just got the number one pick. Jordan Love's franchise guy, and it seems like Goff's now solidified franchise guy with what the Lions are doing. So like to beat them, you might need more than like they're kind of copying the Lions. It seems like you have like I guess discarded top draft pick as your quarterback, like next team, and you just have a really good roster around this guy. So maybe they're like, well, we want the top draft pick that's ours, and hopefully, who knows what they'll do.
yeah, I don't know, but that'll be interesting to see. It'll be also interesting to see what happens when it comes to um other movement around the league, specifically like when it comes to the draft and the higher rated quarterbacks. Because as Kyle said before, um, we both personally like I think this is a very underwhelming quarterback year, and especially with next year.
Actually,
The quarter,
we had one quarterback signing today. Skylar Thompson, former Miami Dolphins backup and Thursday quarterback, signed with the Steelers. So
big pickup for the Steelers,
big pickup for the Steelers. He's basically Kenny Pickett. So
pretty much. But I think this is a terrible, not a terrible, but it's not that good of a draft class for
no,
quarterbacks.
there's no terrible draft classes for quarterbacks. Like there's always going to be a guy,
Yeah, but I
and there's
just think
always a guy
there's
like in the right situation. But I think
yeah,
the situations are wrong. Like
yes,
I
all the
don't think
situations are
like I
terrible.
think if Cam Ward and Shador go 1-2 in whatever order, they're both screwed.
Yeah.
Um,
And then it'll be written like as much as I despise Caleb Williams, like that's just kind of how it goes. Like it's kind of a given. You saw it with Bryce Young. I like Bryce Young a lot,
he's
and
been really
you know,
well.
he's played really well now, but like you draft Bryce Young and he's already got these physical traits that make people think he doesn't have what it takes. And then you put him on a team that is like bottom barrel rat piss. Like they are so bad and he
Because
doesn't
they traded their future to
obviously.
get him.
Yeah, and you put him on a team that's that bad, and he doesn't perform obviously because he has no one to help him, no
Yes.
support, and then you sit there and you go, oh wow, I wonder why he's so bad, and then you're
Yeah,
like, all
why
right,
is he
it's
so
your
bad?
fault, it's
He
on him.
actually had from like it was like week 7 or 8. He got the starting job back. He was 1 or 2 in the PFF big time throw stat. It was like just really good throws. And
Yeah,
it's if you watch the games, you would guess that because he was making some ridiculous throws. And
yeah,
then he'd take shots because they have no linemen.
hmm
and
Yeah.
it was impressive.
Dude, I think he's a good player. I really do. He's
Well,
undersized.
I
Like
think they realize that now. So
he's good. And I thought he was good even when they were saying like, oh, we should bench him. The issue I have, and everybody does it, and that's why like
they want
Kyle
instant
said, we're so
success.
saturated with Giants. We're saturated with Giants fans. They're all as delusional as the one next to them. And they sit here and they think that Daniel Jones is the issue, which
He was not. He's
he's
another one. Like
not.
he could, if he gets a second chance somewhere, I'd
Yeah,
be
he could
impressed.
in Minnesota, yeah. Like I don't
Oh, or
think
look at Brock Purdy, his last pick in the draft. You just have that much talent on him. He was great, all pro
exactly.
player.
Yeah.
It could
And
literally
then
be any quarterback in the right system with the right players around him.
but
Or
but
you
you
could
have a
ruin a Heisman winner in the wrong system, like they tried doing with Bryce Young.
yeah. But what bothers me is that they with for example for Daniel Jones, they have Daniel Jones. They're already strapped onto this contract with Daniel Jones because they paid him so much.
Yeah, it
And
was the first year
yeah, and instead of sitting there and being
or
like,
second
"Hey,
year.
hold on to it, we'll bite the bullet," they said, "Let's get rid of him and bite the bullet still." Dude, keep Daniel Jones. He's a quarterback that he might not be the best quarterback out of all the teams. He's not. He's definitely not. But he's good enough to play. He's good enough to
He won
be
a playoff game.
He's good enough to be and you could use him as a bridge quarterback. You could literally let him be your quarterback, build a team around Daniel Jones, and then once you have a decent enough team built around him, draft a good quarterback. Put a
Yeah,
quarterback in that situation. Don't
Herbert and
get
Tua
rid
are
of
like the
Daniel Jones. You're
similar.
paying Daniel Jones contract. You're paying. You got rid of Saquon. That was your other piece.
Yeah,
You basically have nothing,
no line,
and
no
you just got rid of your
weapons,
quarterback. You're
no
going to draft another
defense.
quarterback with no offensive line, with one singular wide receiver, with a mid-tier defense. What are you
Yeah,
doing? Like,
and Daniel Jones has the one playoff win, and we still have Herbert and Tua are like the same, pretty much the same age timeline. Like I think they're a little younger, but they don't have a Tua's 0-1 in playoff starts, and Herbert's 0-2 now. So
yeah,
and you got a guy that won a road playoff game, like that's rare in the NFL. And they keep showing that Hard Knocks clip of Shane's kid wanting to pick Daniels. So you guys, you would have been bad with him too. It's because of everything around them that they did in Washington with the coaching staff, bringing in Ertz, bringing in Bobby Wagner and all the other veterans, Austin Eckler, where the Giants, they did nothing in the offseason and nothing to help out. They wanted Daniel Jones to carry everybody when you need to have pieces around Daniel Jones to have everybody help everybody, not just one guy. It was like, well, since you make this much, you got to make everybody better. It's like, that's not what made you good when you
no.
actually were good. So,
Like, if you look at all the successful teams in the NFL right now, all the remaining playoff teams, they all have. You don't sit there and go, one guy is good. Even the Chiefs, the only thing people talk about with the Chiefs is Patrick Mahomes. You look at
yeah,
that
their
offensive
defense
line
is
he has
great.
in front of him. He's got Travis Kelce. Pacheco's good when he's healthy. Their defense is elite. Like they can
They don't have
literally
great
rely on their
receivers, though, but
defense.
yeah.
They don't have the best receivers. Kelsey's good. Worthy isn't the he's not crazy, and they also don't use him like a normal
No.
receiver.
He had,
He
didn't
kind of
he
has like
miss a couple
different
games?
yeah, I think he might have missed a few games.
Yeah.
Pacheco was out for most of the season. Um, but like they have enough good pieces on offense, and their offensive line is really good, but their defense is great. So that's
Yeah,
why
and
they
they didn't score 30 all season.
yeah,
They're like
exactly.
one of the only teams to not score 30 all season, and they had the best record
Yeah,
just
if you look
because
at teams
it's a
that
good
average
team.
the points per game that they normally have like 4-11 records or some shit like that, or what I don't even know what the number is, but
Yeah,
like
I'm pretty sure the Giants are also up there, of not
yeah,
scoring 30 until that Colts game where they did score 30,
yeah,
which screwed
exactly.
them out
And
of the
like
number one pick.
you look at the people that average the points that the Chiefs do per game offensively, and they're like terrible with records, and the Chiefs have the best record in the NFL. But
Yeah,
you look at
it's
like
crazy.
even the Ravens, they're a complete team. They're a very complete team. Same with the Detroit Lions, they're complete. I'd honestly say Buffalo is one of the lesser. They're not even lesser complete. They just have like missing pieces in
Well,
areas.
there's the Ravens and the Lions have identities, and then Buffalo's identities kind of, we have Josh Allen,
Yeah,
which is like not, which is kind of basically what Baltimore used to be, but now they have Derrick Henry to go with Lamar.
yeah,
So
and they have a really good defense. Their defense is pretty good.
it's not like Kansas City or Baltimore's, but it's up there.
No, I'm saying Baltimore's defense is really good.
Oh yes, yes. I thought you were talking about Buffalo's.
No,
Buffalo's
no,
good.
yeah, no,
That's
I'm
why I
saying
like Baltimore in that game.
yeah, no, I do. I like Baltimore in that game too. I
Defense
like
favors.
Baltimore to go. I think Baltimore will go all the way, honestly.
I yeah. I think people didn't give enough credit for. You have the best running quarterback in history, and you add the best running back in our lifetime to him.
Yeah,
Like
exactly. What is the defense? What is the opposing defense supposed to defend? Like,
could you imagine like Vic and LaDainian Tomlinson in that era?
yeah,
Would have been like the craziest thing ever. Like, and we have that now, and people are like, oh well, they started 0-2. They must be bad.
yeah.
So.
Yeah, they're like 15 and what are they like 15 and 4?
What?
That doesn't even add up. What are they? 14 and 4? What's their record?
They finished 12-5, so now they're 13-5.
13 and 5?
Yeah, the one
Yeah, they
playoff
have
win.
5 losses. I knew they
But
had
they
like
but they
four or
were
five.
0-2. So,
Yeah, no, I know, but I'm just saying like even
but now
like
you're 13-3 since then. Like
yeah,
obviously
no.
you just added Derrick Henry. It doesn't just instantly click.
Yeah.
And bro, that's been the Ravens like thing every year. It's like they'll lose a stupid game because like Lamar will have the day he can't make a pass. Like
Yeah.
their losses were they lost to the Browns
Yeah,
and
I
they
was about to
lost
say one
to
of them was to the
I
Browns.
think to the Raiders. I mean that might have been the year before. But they love to have dumb losses. And the one time they lost to the Steelers was a dumb loss. Like just because they couldn't function. They don't lose to good teams.
Yeah.
They killed Buffalo. And
Yeah.
I don't think they lost to Kansas City on Likely's foot. That was the opening week.
His toe, and not even his foot. It was his toe.
Yeah, it's tough. Like they don't not show against good teams. They not show against bad. They're like what Bama likes to pretend they are in college football. They're like, oh, we lost to Vandy, but we beat Georgia. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it's different in the NFL. So like
Yeah.
you can get away with not showing up a week. College, you got to be. I guess now you can get away with a week, but college, you got to be closer to perfect.
Yeah,
NFL,
that's
12 and
why I've
5 is
always
fine.
liked college over the NFL, but it's kind of veering towards
Well, it's like both. Like there's the benefits of both. Like you can like it's good to not be perfect because like injuries and stuff.
yeah,
But
well, and also like if you think about it from a fan standpoint, like you're not sitting there like, oh, we have one loss, we're out of it. But at the same time, like
yes,
there's that
that's the
makes the
benefit
game,
of the 12-team playoff now.
yeah, but it makes it so much more intense. Like you're like, damn, like you actually got to be fucking elite to, it
Yeah, you
makes it feel
can't.
like you got to be elite in less
Well, that's
situations.
also the problem with college football is you can't lose random games. So that's why we get like uh Bama playing Morehead State in week 14
Yeah,
because
dude.
you can't schedule a competent team because you can't afford a loss here.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense to
So
lose that game here.
yeah,
So
like
yeah, that
Clemson always
makes
playing the
sense.
Citadel. Like, come on, like, you're just
Yeah,
wasting.
Tennessee playing Chattanooga and then
Yeah,
UTEP. Yeah.
yeah, or like especially
Notre
the end
Dame
of this.
actually losing the one game. Yeah, that's cool too.
But that's early. But I mean, like they do it. The SEC has always their touch up week, like right before rivalry week,
Yeah, it's like a week or
where
two
you
before.
play. Yeah, Auburn lost to New Mexico State this year. It's
That
like
was last year, I think. Was it this year?
I thought it was both.
It might have been both. They're pretty fucking
Auburn's just
trash.
bad. But yeah, like why do we gotta like week one? It's okay. Week zero, okay. Week like anything past like once we get in the conference schedule, like just knock it off.
Yeah. Play football.
Play football. So
But speaking of college, there's rumors about Deion Sanders making the move from college to the NFL, which um I guess you could say it was predictable, but he said it wouldn't happen, but it was I guess it was pretty predictable. But I've on definitely I've shown my discontent towards that on social media. I feel like I was very vocal
it'd
about
be
it.
dumb. He's got a good thing going in Colorado,
He really does have a good thing going.
especially with the 12-team playoff now. Like it's
And
not
and
ridiculous.
for him to go to fucking Jerry World of all places,
Yeah,
that'd be the place he decides to go to where
yeah.
he's basically a puppet. Like at
Well,
that
if you want followers, they got it.
yeah, I know, but like
But
I'm
if you
saying
want to actually succeed, no.
yeah, don't go there if you want to succeed. Like literally they're talking about they're like the Cowboys vacancy is one of those vacancies where it's like that's not like Troy Aikman said, that's not really a sought after position by any coach right now.
I would
Like
like it. Like it's not sought after because of Jerry, but if you look at the team, like they got a good
no, they got a
defense.
good team, but
They
I
have
would hate doing
stars
it
on
for Jerry.
defense and offense. Like you don't have to. Yeah, it's you have to work with a terrible boss, but like it's of the jobs available, that's probably the best roster.
Yeah, it's the best roster, but you not only are you under national scrutiny every week because
Well,
you're
yes, but
one of those teams,
yeah,
but
I agree.
you're
But
getting the reins from a guy that is proven that
I
he
just meant as far as if you want to come in and just coach, like
yeah,
not because they
but
don't coaches aren't technically supposed to be GMs, even though they like
they
blame them for the
tend to assume
decisions.
the role, yeah.
Yeah, like you because they don't have well, I guess in Dallas it is because they don't have Jerry's the GM.
Yeah,
But as
Jerry.
far as you have Dak, you have CD, you have a top what was it pick 13,
12.
pick 12. Yeah, Miami's 13. My bad. To add, if it's Genty, if it's whoever, like you're adding talent. I've
I
seen
think they
Genty
should do
there.
Genty. I really
I've
do.
seen I've seen Luther Bird in there in mocks, just to be the number two receiver. Though I believe they'll have money in free agency.
They
Micah
should.
Parsons is stud on defense, and it wasn't it both Diggs and who's the other corner was out. Both of your star corners are out.
I don't know.
Who's the other corner? I'm blanking. Because remember, Diggs was out, and then this dude went off with the picks.
I don't know his name.
I feel like such a casual, but I just
I am clearly casual. I don't know his name.
you got the Google for me.
Yeah, I'll Google it right now. I'll go
Oh,
on
who's their number two?
ESPN. We'll see if the phone can load.
Because he had like the pick sixes, and everybody loved him.
This year.
Bland wasn't it? It was Bland.
Oh yeah, it's probably Bland. Let
Ron
me.
Bland.
Well, Bland had
Yeah, and he was out most of the year, I believe.
it says he doesn't have any interceptions this year.
Yeah, because he was out.
Oh yeah, okay, you're talking about last year.
Yeah, yeah, because yeah, but there's
Yeah,
like supposed to be
Darren
this
Bland.
stud corner pairing, and they're
Yeah,
both injured most of the year.
and then Malik Hooker's not a terrible
But yeah,
safety.
like they got talent. They had a lot of injuries and like low key a unfavorable schedule. I feel like
Yeah,
they played Cleveland and they beat Cleveland, but they played the Saints week two, and that was like probably the 2 weeks both of those teams were actually like 100% healthy.
yeah.
Like if you played both of them like week 15 and 16, they're probably the two worst teams in the NFL when they were starting DTR and uh
Cooper Rush.
no I meant for nuance Spencer Rattler
Oh yeah,
compared to what they actually faced Deshaun and Derek Carr.
yeah.
So they were close. They played Atlanta tight. Is there? I mean, they ended up what they ended up like 8-9. Like it's
The
two
Cowboys they finished
like
7-10.
two game. Oh yeah, I guess. All right, so 3 game flip. You're in the playoffs, or you're
Uh,
at least competing. You'd be competing for the wild
competing,
card.
competing. The
Yeah, because Green Bay was so good this year, but
yeah, and then Washington's also from their
yeah,
division went
if
to
you
like
flip a
five.
Washington game, you could get there.
Yeah, and then Green Bay.
So
Yeah, Green Bay gets a couple more losses.
yeah, it's you're never that far out in the NFL, which is great. As you look back, it's like, oh, you had
Yeah,
four
if you
ones,
think
four
about it,
losses. If you flip all of them,
the Cincinnati Bengals were still in it.
yeah, they just needed to not lose to New England week one.
Yeah.
Dolphins needed to not lose to the Titans, Colts, and Bills because we fumbled the ball.
Well, the Bills is what it is, but the
But we
Titans
had them. We
is
didn't.
rough.
They didn't force a punt besides the opening drive of that game, and then the opening drive of the second half, or the second drive of the second half, because they started with the ball. Raheem Mostert fumbled at the or the Bills 43-yard line, and the game completely switched. Or it might have been the 47-yard line, but it was right around like they could not stop the Dolphins, and then we fumbled, and then we lost.
Yeah.
Ask me if I'm still mad about that one.
I don't think I have to ask you. I'm
Yeah,
starting to understand that you are.
still mad about that. Bro,
But
and then quick rant here. Tua's wife and Moster's wife, they're friends. They're posting their vacations and stuff. You don't go on vacation for missing the playoffs. Vacations are for winners. Is like you can go on vacation, obviously, but don't post. I don't want to see your kids having fun when you went 8-9 and missed the playoffs. And Tua didn't even play the last like 2 weeks of the season. The vacations are for people who play the games. You've been on vacation. You had a concussion first 6 weeks of the season, and then we missed the last two. You play half the season, you got to take a vacation. What? Because it's been busy for you. You sat there the whole time with your stupid little pom pom hat on the sideline. It drives me out. I don't need to see that, and of course I follow them because I like seeing what they're doing. But not vacation. It just ended. The playoff wild card weekend. You're on a damn golf course. You're supposed to be out there.
dude, let them know.
Yeah, it drives me nuts. Absolutely nuts.
Well, I
All
don't
right.
have anything like that to rant about. I'm not gonna lie, but
It's everybody does that. I remember I flipped out on a kid on my college baseball team. He posted vacation. He hit 190 freshman year. You going on vacation, you hit 190. It might have been he might have like a 7 ERA. You were going on vacation. You pitched 6 innings to a like 9 ERA, and you're going to Cabo? No. Your ugly girlfriend. No, no. Go
absolutely
lift
not.
weights.
Absolutely
No,
not.
no. It's
Jeez.
garbage.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Dude, the ugly girlfriend too.
Dude. Yeah.
Jeez.
You know what? You know what the ugly girlfriend means? Lacks confidence.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
He's not
not
a
good
shooter.
sign in
He's not a
athletes.
shooter.
Yeah, not a shooter.
He shoots like he pitches, is what you're saying.
It, yeah, balls all over the place.
Balls.
Ball forward, take your
Does
base.
not throw it down the middle.
No.
Does not once throw it down the middle. All right, all
Well, he
right.
probably does, and then he lets up a grand slam after the first three guys he walked.
Yeah, it happens.
I
And
don't
then he's
know.
like, all right, I
I
get what I
wasn't
can
there that
take.
season.
Gets what he can take. It happens, you know.
Yeah, it
No
is what it is.
disrespect to his girlfriend. That's just disrespect to
No,
him.
no, full disrespect.
Okay. Kyle said, "Fuck that. We're doing
I didn't
disrespect."
mention names, so they'll never figure out
Yeah,
who it
yeah.
is.
This is no name, but
Full disrespect. If you figure it out.
yeah. If you, hey, by the way, if you're watching this, dude, get fucked. All right, you just got fucking eliminated. You just got
Yeah,
violated.
now you're not on a roster. What's with
Yeah,
that? Who
yeah.
could have predicted that? I would have.
Kyle
I could
probably
have.
would have done that. Probably. If you asked him 2 years ago, he probably would have said something about it.
If I could bet on that stuff,
Yeah, dude.
millionaire.
If only.
If
If
we could bet
only.
on D3 baseball, oh my.
If only.
Dude, I'd be throwing games.
Dude, we can't be saying that here. We cannot be
Dude,
saying
I'd be
that
in
here.
center field like Aaron Judge, just oops, drop the ball.
All right. Jeez. This took a turn. This took
It
a turn.
did. It did.
Jesus.
We went from NFL playoffs to fixing D3 baseball games.
Yeah, to fixing games. You know,
All
just
right.
a slightly illegal and frowned upon conversation. We don't do that,
Well,
by the way. None of that occurs.
we
I'm
don't have that.
definitely,
We
you know,
don't have that type of poll.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
If we did,
He's sitting here, he's not reinforcing it at all. He's like, if I could fucking do it, I'd be doing it. All right. I want everybody to know that the only reason I'm not doing it is because I can't. All right.
if I had the connections.
All right. Well, is
All
it as
right.
frowned upon in D3? Is there a difference in the rules? I don't think so.
I don't know. I'm graduate. I'm JUCO now, so
Yeah, so now it doesn't
that's
matter.
probably even more. It's probably openly accepted at JUCO levels.
Yeah, probably. Well,
If
that's
you
not
can
under the
find a way to make
NCAA.
money betting on games, go ahead. If you can get somebody to take the other side of that bet, go ahead. Because who's dumb enough to do that? Especially like if they know you're playing in it and they're gonna bet on you to win. Of course, someone would do it.
Well,
Whatever.
I think we're gonna wrap it up on that high note right there. We're running out of time. We'll wrap it
Good
up there.
ending.
That was quality. That was a
We'll
quality. If
have
you
to. We'll
made it
have a
here, if
point
anybody
shaving
made it
episode.
here, they got to watch a treat. You know what I
We'll,
mean?
we'll have to have a point shaving episode in the future.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
How to point shave your YMCA adult league.
But anyways, we will see you guys on Friday, probably Thursday or Friday. We'll have our national championship pick, and we'll also have our divisional round picks then. So stay tuned for that. Follow us on the Twitter. Keep up with us on there. Until then, you guys have a good one. Don't lose too much money, all right?